Thanks for tuning in to a special edition of Vintage Cinema Review Christmas Edition. This week we're covering from 1989, Christmas Vacation.
This is always a fun one to do, especially during this time of the year. It's a beautiful season, a beautiful movie. We hope you sit back and enjoy it with your family and friends.
Yeah, it's a modern day classic. We've all seen it, and we'll all see it many more times. Hope you enjoy our little take on it.
Yeah, don't forget to rate us, whether you're on Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you're at. Hit that 5-star rating. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Old Dirty Basement. And sit back, relax, and enjoy National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Hey, this is Dave.
Matt.
And Zap.
And welcome to the Vintage Cinema Review,
where every week we review some of our favorite films from the past.
Hey, there ain't no late fees here.
Silence is golden. And be kind. Rewind.
Hey, what's up, fellas? I'm feeling in the holiday spirit. I know what we're throwing in today. What do you got?
I don't know. What are we watching today?
We got Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I said holiday spirit.
Yeah, this one won the poll on Facebook. I put out a little poll for Christmas movie to review, and this one took the win. So yeah, Christmas Vacation, release date on this December 1st, 1989. So yeah, this one's a classic.
True Christmas movie, released December 1st.
Truly a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with those die-hard arguments or whatever. Truly a Christmas movie.
Right. And no matter where you're at and, you know, what channel you check, it seems like this thing's always on this time of year. It's one of those movies, kind of like Christmas Story.
It's like, it's all day, every day. You're going to find it someplace.
Yeah.
They played it a lot in July, too, on TBS, TNT. You'll see
really?
it probably that Christmas in July thing that people have going.
Mm-hmm.
They did the same with the Hallmark Christmas movies as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In case you were curious.
So if the mood hits you right in the summertime, you want to, you know, get in that Christmas spirit for some reason, I guess they're on. We got in a debate about that at work. We had mentioned during vacation how the three of us preferred Christmas Vacation over Vacation. And they were like, well, doesn't it depend on the time of year? Like, do you want to watch this movie in July and August and this and that? I'm like, well, no, it's just that I watch this movie once a year pretty much, and I enjoy it. I don't really think of it as a seasonal thing. What do you guys think?
I for sure have seen Christmas Vacation far more times than I've seen Original Vacation.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no problem saying that I prefer Christmas Vacation over the original.
Right.
Or I should say over the first.
Right.
And I can watch this movie anytime, any part of the year, doesn't matter. I'll watch it.
Right. You feel the same?
I think, yeah, it's, I guess it's a anytime, anywhere type movie. Vacation, I feel like if I do see it, sometimes I'm in the mood for it, sometimes not.
Right.
This one, if it's on, even if you're doing stuff around the house, again, keep it in the background.
Right.
It's fun to look up and see a part. It's probably going to make you laugh.
Well, they disagreed with us, and hey, everybody has their own opinion, but I still feel the same way. I'm glad you guys...
I'm glad they disagreed, but they're wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, I mean, hey, we said it and stand behind it, so I mean, I still feel the same way. I prefer this movie, and I think it's good. Got a couple old dirty mailbag items I'd like to get to.
Oh.
So these movie reviews seem like we always have people we're talking about fun facts and different things and always get a lot of feedback. So we had brought up in Vacation about the dieseling in engines.
Yeah, they knock. They continue to, it's like the engine's still running after the car's been turned off.
Right. So we had talked about in Spaceballs, we found out that was called dieseling and whatnot. And we asked if diesel engines had spark plugs. We weren't sure. And if it was an issue, if dieseling was something that happened in diesel engines. Well, it is not. Listener Neil, guy that listens all the time, he told me no. Actually, diesel engines do not have spark plugs. They have what are called glow plugs.
Ah.
Which makes the spark to start the engine?
Yeah, because they're like in colder weather and stuff, they're harder to start.
That's why you have to leave diesel engines running in the winter. Got it.
Right.
Got it.
I often see diesel-powered vehicles plugged in.
Yeah.
I'll see
heaters.
Yeah, like extension cords running onto these people's cars.
Yeah, they're heating the block up, so it's easier to start. And he also said, I told him like Cannonball Run's a movie that's coming up. He's a car guy. He's like, he actually had a Trans Am like that back in the day. Like the one that had that movie, so that'll be a cool one to cover.
Heck yeah.
And this was Neil?
Yeah, guy Neil.
Yeah, thanks, Neil.
Yeah. Another guy, well, Nutley Nick. We talked about him a lot last week during Spaceballs. He listens pretty religiously. since the very beginning. He's been
Whoa. Leave religion out of this.
since the beginning.
What do you think this is, Christmas?
Right.
My God.
But he left me a voicemail. He said we need to set up a hotline, which we're actually looking into maybe doing. I got to see how we would go about that. It might cost something, and we're already shelling out a little bit of money. So,
hey, if anybody's listening and feels like giving us the $8 a month to get a landline,
get a phone line.
Yeah, just donate to the OL Dirty Basement at.
Yeah, right. PayPal or Venmo or anything.
Yes, please.
But let me play the voicemail he left.
Hey, everybody, it's Nutley Nick. Great episode. Loved it for vacation. But you messed up a little bit. There's 4 turnpike tunnels, not 2, not 3, but 4. Blue Mountain, Tuscarora, Allegheny, and Kittatinny. You got to get your facts right, fellas. And also, here's a fun fact. Lindsey Buckingham did Holiday Road. Did you know he played every instrument on that song? Fun fact. Keep up the good work, fellas. Nutley Nick, out.
All right, well, there you go. I guess we were wrong on that.
Well, look what we learned today. Hey, man, I think I was the first one to say that there were only 2 tunnels, so wow, 4.
4, yeah. I think Matt said 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And it was 4.
What is it? Isn't there something that Nutley needs to know about that, though?
Well, right. So
Okay.
we would say Nutley's arch enemy. He lost a bet earlier this year. He's a big West Virginia football fan. And our lawyer, JW, is a Pitt graduate and Pitt alumni and a lawyer. As always, he had to one-up Nutley Nick. He said, well, there are 4 turnpike tunnels, but when you get off the exit and actually before Pittsburgh, there's actually another tunnel. So you could say there's 5 between here and Pittsburgh, which I think that was the original question.
So is that debatable, or is that, I don't know.
I don't know. I think he just was jabbing at Nutley Nick. And was like, hey,
okay.
But I don't think he, but at any rate, there's 4 on the turnpike, which Nutley Nick was correct about. But then there actually is 1 when you get off the exit before Pittsburgh.
All right, well, thank you, J-Dub.
Yep,
and,
J.W.
Thank you, Nutley.
Yeah, thank you, fellas.
Yeah. And then one last thing out of the mailbag. If you go on our Facebook page, and we have a group called Old Dirty Basement Podcast. That's where our polls are at. We have, yeah, we have, a lot of followers on our Facebook page, but only about a quarter of those followers are actually on the Old Dirty Basement Podcast group, which is where the polls and everything are. Well, there was a guy that I kind of met within another group that I follow called VHS Misfits. It's where people go in to talk about old movies and different things like that, VHS movies and whatnot. And he had put a group of pictures up of his basement. I had commented on it, like how cool I thought it was. I was like, that's an awesome basement. And it came through with Old Dirty Basement as our page commenting on it. He was like, oh, I love your name, this and that. We started communicating back and forth. And I said, hey, I'd like to reference that on our podcast because I think our listeners that are in the vintage cinema would appreciate this basement. So you guys, you took a look at the basement. It's pretty impressive.
This guy has an incredible collection of some vintage classic movie stuff in this basement. Like, this is an unbelievable basement.
I appreciated his old school DVD stands. He had vintage classic horror posters. Some movies I haven't seen. He had a Critters 2, which I just thought there was a Critters. Parents, which the one actor is in one of the movies we're doing today.
Yeah, Randy Quaid.
Yes, exactly. He had Doc and Dream Warriors album cover. That
Docking, yeah. From Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah,
3. I think, was it 3?
Yeah, Dream Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, but this dude, Chris, also, I wanted to give a shout out to his Indiana Jones characters. The scenes you did with them, I don't know where you got them from, but those were incredible, man. Dug the basement.
That's awesome. And so if anyone's looking for it, and we hope you are, that's the Old Dirty Basement. That's OL apostrophe.
Yes. Dirty
Basement on Facebook.
Facebook. And I'll probably put them on the regular page somehow. I think I can share that to our page, but then also join our group. And that's where you can kind of see all the polls and everything and interact with us on there. And he had concession stand stuff. I mean, it just felt like you're back in the 80s, like right up our alley, and we appreciate that. So thanks, Chris, for that. And so we're going to get into this movie today, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. This one was rated PG-13. Like I said earlier, release date was December 1st, 1989. Running time on this movie, 97 minutes. Directed by Jeremy S. Chechik. Written by John Hughes, once again. Based on characters by John Hughes. And it was produced by John Hughes and Tom Jacobson. Budget on this movie, $25 million. Box office, $73.3 million.
Dang.
Yeah.
Cha-ching.
Did very well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some would say that the juice was worth the squeeze on that one.
Easily.
So filming dates on this was between March 27th, 1989 and June 30th of 1989. So pretty quick filming, I think. I mean, not too long. Filmed in Breckenridge, Colorado, Chicago, Illinois, and parts of Los Angeles, California. The house itself was located on a back lot of the Warner Brothers Ranch. That same house was also used in American Beauty, ER, Pleasantville, Small Soldiers, and then a series of 2012. I don't know if you guys remember these, but Old Navy did a Christmas themed vacation or vacation
with the
theme.
3 actors.
Yeah, they were all in it,
Mhm.
and they shot it at this house.
Huh.
And it's also the same neighborhood. Now, not the house necessarily, but the neighborhood that's on this back lot. There's a show called The Middle. You guys ever hear of that show, The Middle? With
The one dad from Breaking Bad, right? Or no?
not Breaking Bad.
That's Malcolm in the Middle.
Yes, that's Malcolm.
No. This is called The Middle.
Oh, okay.
The girl that is in Everybody Loves Raymond, the wife of Raymond, and she's in it. I forget her name.
Oh, does it have the one kid, the shorter kid?
Yeah,
Who's like
Brick,
really smart? Brick.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Anyway, they filmed that show in that same neighborhood. So
Okay.
I guess we'll turn it over to Zap with the cast.
Yeah, thanks, man. We have quite a star-studded cast in this one, and I'm sure everyone has seen this movie. These are faces you just know like the back of your hand by now. We've got Chevy Chase as Clark W. Griswold Jr. We have Beverly D'Angelo as Ellen Griswold, Clark's wife. Juliette Lewis as Audrey Griswold, Clark and Ellen's daughter. Johnny Galecki as Russ Griswold, Clark and Ellen's son. John Randolph as Clark Griswold Sr., Clark's father. Diane Ladd as Nora Griswold, Clark's mother. E.G. Marshall as Art Smith, Ellen's father. Doris Roberts as Frances Smith, Ellen's mother. Miriam Flynn as Katherine Johnson, Ellen's cousin. Her husband, played by Randy Quaid, Eddie Johnson, a.k.a. Cousin Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Cody Berger as Rocky Johnson, Eddie and Catherine's son. Ellen Hamilton Latson as Ruby Sue Johnson, Eddie and Catherine's daughter. William Hickey as Louis Griswold, Clark's uncle. Mae Questel as Bethany Griswold, Clark's aunt and wife of Louis. Sam McMurray as Bill, Clark's co-worker. Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Margot Chester, the Griswolds' yuppie neighbor. Nicholas Guest as Todd Chester, Margot's husband. Brian Doyle Murphy as Frank Shirley, Clark's boss. Natalie Nogulich as Helen Shirley, Frank's wife. And of course, the always and forever beautiful Nicolette Scorsese as Mary, the clerk at the lingerie counter.
Any relation to?
I didn't get the chance to look into it. Any relation to Martin Scorsese?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
I
yeah.
didn't get the chance.
Yeah, she's hot.
She's something, all right.
There go. Yeah, what we were talking about too in Vacation. Like Clark is always with the
Always
ladies,
hot.
man.
Yeah,
It's like
Can I-
either his wife's dead or
yeah.
There are so many throwbacks in this movie, or at least homages
To the original.
to the original. They just pop right out at you. Yeah, we'll get to them.
I do have something real quick. It was one of only 2 Christmas movies. This isn't really a fun fact or anything. Released in 1989.
Yeah, I did read that part.
Does anybody know what the other one was?
If you say Die Hard, I'm punching you in the face.
No, it is
It was
not
a,
that.
Prancer.
Prancer.
Ooh.
And that's also starring Johnny Galecki. So he did both
Christmas
Christmas movies.
Not
He was
much,
busy.
Not much competition that year. Yeah, I don't even remember that movie. Was it?
Me neither. I don't remember it.
No, I'm gonna miss one. Overshadowed for sure. So I guess Matt, you have a synopsis there.
Yeah, a brief, not so brief synopsis, which they really, we're running into like longer synopsises, so I don't know how to,
We just
what to call them.
Didn't we? I thought we had concluded, or at least speculated in one of our previous episodes, that the longer the synopsis, the stronger the
Stronger
movie.
the movie is correct.
This is like a 3-paragraph synopsis.
Right.
Dang.
It's we can do this in 2 parts. We can do one now, one in the middle of the movie, or in the middle of the review, and one at the end. It's Christmas time for the Griswolds, a season for giving, for Yuletide carols, for Christmas tree lights glowing brightly. Hey, wait, this one's not glowing. It's on fire. Yes, Christmas is a perfect season for Clark Griswold, Chevy Chase, and his family. Clark's a disaster waiting to happen. Before you can sing fa la 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 la, he's decking the halls with howls of folly in this box office hit. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It was Wally World or Bust in National Lampoon's Vacation, Stonehenge unhinged in National Lampoon's European Vacation. Now Clark wants to make sure his family enjoys the most fun-filled, old-fashioned family Christmas ever. Uh-oh. You have to see it to believe it. There are 25,000 lights on the Griswold rooftop, an exploding turkey on the Griswold table, a dozen or so more turkeys, including Randy Quaid as total gross-out Cousin Eddie, as guests inside the Griswold home, and a SWAT team taking battle stations outside. Clark Griswold strikes again, and so does Vacation series creator John Hughes, Uncle Buck, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. You'll, Y-U-L-E, love it. That is the brief, not so brief synopsis.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that was well written. I just came up with that last night. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
What a good play on words with Yule.
Yeah. So we didn't talk about European Vacation, but what'd you guys think of that one in between? I don't know if we brought that up.
That was not very good at all. That was just like
I watched
Vegas.
it like I guess like a week or two ago, just because I saw it on Netflix and I was like, oh, it was like early morning, and it wasn't that bad. I mean, I thought it was decent.
I liked Rusty in that one.
Yeah.
He's probably my favorite Rusty.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, this one here, like we said, it's just a classic, and I watch it every year religiously around Christmas time. No matter when I catch it, I just
Now that we mentioned European Vacation, somebody's probably going to ask for that. So we'll probably review that one also.
It may be. I mean, if it gets added, but there's so many other great movies. I think
true.
that it could happen, but it'll probably be a while. I know there's a lot of other ones we got to get to, but so Zap, you have a little
Walkthrough?
walkthrough.
Yeah,
There we go.
Sure. I mean, so we've all seen this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that all I'm going to do is bring to light everything we all remember. So our movie starts out. Families driving along in their family wagon, this time a Ford Taurus,
Mm-hmm.
the front wheel drive sleigh. They're singing Christmas carols together as they're driving down the road to cut down their family Christmas tree.
The Griswolds enjoy the family sing-along also.
Right.
That's part of the vacation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to call it. It's one of their
Tradition?
traditions.
yeah.
Thank you.
Indeed. So while driving and singing, and they end up with a little bit of a back and forth with a nasty pickup truck. They find themselves under a much larger truck carrying logs. I mean, this is amazing, and it's another one of these, homages to the original Vacation. After they swerve out from underneath the truck, I don't know if it was 50 yards, but they jump the car off the road and they land right at the tree farm to which they were supposed to go.
Here we are.
Just like the hotel and the,
Yeah.
the vacation.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Clark forgot his saw
Yeah.
when they go to cut the tree down.
So how does the tree get down?
I don't know. They don't show it, but they do show the root ball of the tree on top of the car. That is to say, as the tree is still on top of the car,
Mm-hmm.
the root ball is attached to it.
There's no way you're getting a wagon out where they were walking to. I
No,
was thinking maybe they tie the wagon to pull it
Yeah.
out because the
Or
whole root
Did
system
they have to
came up.
dig it by hand?
Maybe.
What did he do out there? That's left to the imagination.
Guess we'll
The
never
fun-
know.
Fun part of this movie.
It is. So I was curious when I saw that pickup, the pickup truck
Right.
with the two hicks that are,
Yeah.
they're just fighting on the road. Was that the same pickup that was featured in Overboard?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a fun fact.
Is it?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, that is. It's the same one. Yep.
It's just such a dog ugly pickup truck.
Is that Kurt Russell's
Yes.
in Overboard?
That's
Okay.
the same one. Yep. That is something that'll come up in the fun facts, but yeah, cover it now because in
That
case we
movie-
forget. Yeah.
That movie could come up also.
Yeah.
That's one of my
It
favorites.
is a good one.
That's him
It
and
is a
Goldie
good one.
Hawn, right?
Yeah.
They redid that, I think.
Terrible.
Yeah, I didn't
Oh,
see
they
I didn't
remade
see
it?
the
Yeah,
remake.
they remade it and they flip flopped the roles.
Oh, okay.
They made a dude the rich
fall off the
person,
boat.
and the woman is
Okay.
whatever.
Ain't that some crap?
Thanks, Hollywood. So with the tree in tow, they return home. The Griswolds return home, and we get our first glimpse at their yuppie neighbors, who
Drive a Saab.
they drive a Saab.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah.
One of Dave's favorites.
Yes.
And that is the actress from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
is-
Julia Louise.
who
Dreyfus.
in real life she's playing a yuppie and she is a billionaire
Mm.
in real life.
I don't know. Is it with a B?
It is with a B.
Car doors go like this, not like this.
Yeah.
The doors go any way she wants her doors to go.
With a B.
Like
With a B.
How does she have a B?
Her dad is an oil baron.
Oh,
The Dreyfus family name is worth billions.
wow.
Now she related to Richard.
Richard Dreyfus.
Yeah.
What, he from Jaws?
Yeah. Well, Dreyfus. Julia Louise
I don't know.
Dreyfus.
I don't know. That's
amazing.
another fun fact to look
Yeah.
up.
Hmm.
I'll have to look that up.
All I know is that he's asked by his yuppie neighbor, where are you going to fit a tree that big? And Clark responds, "Bend over and I'll show you."
I'll show you where. Yeah.
But when his neighbor said, "You can't talk to me like that," I wasn't talking to you. Classic, classic, classic. So after some trimming, the tree makes its way into the house, and it ultimately takes up their entire living room. It is full of sap, a lot of sap. After a full day, Clark and Ellen are discussing their forthcoming family visits and Ellen's reservations about it, while they're laying in bed.
Right.
And you see the sap.
Yeah, the magazine's like...
You can see the effects of the sap.
Yes.
Fingers are sticking to pages, sticking to his wife's
he's
hair.
trying to,
Fun fact on that, the magazine he's reading, the front cover is the director, the Chechik,
Huh.
or producer. Is it director or producer? Yeah, Chechik. He's on the cover of the magazine.
That's
Because
fantastic.
the sap's like sticking to it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Evening came and morning followed. We are now the next day at Clark's office. There's the discussion with him and his buddy from work. Oh, God, what's his name? Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's call him Bill. I want to make sure. Yeah, it's Bill. So him and Bill are talking about Christmas bonuses. Bill was the same dude. He was in Raising Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only other body of work I know him from.
He was in King of
Queens.
Queens.
Never saw it.
Yeah, it's a TV sitcom or whatever.
He was the neighbor. His neighbor. Or no, he was another delivery guy.
He was like the boss, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, Doug's boss.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure. But yeah. That's the only thing I can think of him from. I didn't know him from anything other than King of Queens. So.
Well, as Clark is discussing Christmas bonuses with Bill, he mentions his desire to buy a pool. And so, this is where we first see Mr. Shirley and his group of cronies. Brian Doyle Murray, who is Mr. Shirley in this, Clark's boss, we had seen in the original Vacation as the guy who ran Camp Comfort.
Yes.
Amazing. He must have really moved up in life.
Which is funny. They said that Bill Murray and Chevy Chase were not really ever friends. Like
Oh, really?
They didn't like each other at all.
Not at all.
I've heard stuff about Chevy Chase. Like actually on this particular movie, Chris Columbus, who ended up going on to do Home Alone, was originally brought in to do this movie, and they just didn't get along. So, Chevy Chase.
Yeah,
and him,
there's something with Chevy Chase. It was a whole thing. If anybody is a big Caddyshack fan, there was like a lot of stuff behind the scenes on that, and they didn't even talk like the whole film. And the one scene that they did together, and when Bill Murray when he's the
Gopher guy, yeah.
Groundskeeper.
Yeah.
They go into that little area, and that was like the only 5 minutes that they shared together, and they said it was really awkward, and they hated each other.
That's weird.
I don't know what it was.
Prima donnas, who cares?
Yeah.
Yep.
So as we see Mr. Shirley and his group of cronies walk by, this is a great little instance of humor where there's like eight of them. And Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, kiss my ass, kiss his ass, kiss your ass, Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Priceless writing.
That is.
I think that was probably something that wasn't written. I'm sure.
Ad-libbed.
Could
Yeah,
be.
that's a crazy Chevy.
Quite possibly at the next scene, one of my particular favorites, at the mall,
Yes.
where Clark is shopping for lingerie, or at least
I think he's just shopping.
he's
he just ran
browsing
into
or
it.
browsing
Yeah.
for lingerie. He's not he's just smiling.
Smiling, yeah.
It's a bit nippy out that I say nipple.
Right.
Can I take something out for you? That laugh.
Oh, yeah.
That creepy laugh that he does is just so good, man. It's so good.
It is.
He goes on to, he's explain his, just looking for something for his wife. God rest her soul. She's not dead yet.
Yeah, right.
We're just divorced. Well, tis the season to be merry.
That's my name.
No shit.
No shit.
And then as young Russ is walking by, she's showing
how high
Chevy
how high the underwear sits
on her hip. Like it's cut really high on the hip. You can't see the lines.
Mm-hmm.
Can't see the lines, can you, Russ?
in your Russ,
Yeah,
and he
he's
gives
like-
Russ a pat on the back.
He's lost in it. I like when he picks up the dab his face and it's like panties, and
Yep.
then he goes to put it in a pocket that he does not have. So he's putting it, you know what I mean? He's just like much like in the lounge.
Yep.
Like he just loses his mind.
But
you know?
he's like I think he has an addiction to the ladies because
Yeah.
and nobody thinks anything of it. That's the good old 80s.
Yeah.
For you.
70s into the 80s, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, man, if it worked for Cosby, it can work for Chevy.
Mm.
So back at the Griswold house, we now find both sets of parents, in-laws, are arriving. Of course, everybody exchanges their current ailments. Look at this mole, or
yeah.
I've got hemorrhoids. The men are arguing about parking cars, sleeping arrangements, stuff like that. And now we see, of course, the classic. Clark leaves, and he starts the lighting and decorating of the house.
Mhm.
So he's out there with Russ, oh, there's a little knot here. And this huge disco ball sized knot of lights is there. Now, note the date. So the beginning of this scene, or earlier just only minutes earlier in the movie, which you find throughout the movie, is there's a hand opening an advent calendar.
Yes.
So the date on that was December 14th. Now, I know plenty of people who put up their lights
Oh,
like
Thanksgiving. Yes.
Now, they don't necessarily turn them on,
Mm-hmm.
but they at least put them up because it's still warm out and
Right.
whatever. And of course, equally, you go to you go to a number of locations. There are some people that just leave their lights out all year,
All year round. Yeah.
which is whatever.
Right.
If that's what
People
you
leave
want.
their trees up too.
That's
Laziness.
I've seen that.
that's scary.
Yeah.
So, how do you guys do your lights with regard to lighting? So, I'm a stickler for not turning on lights until maybe 2 weeks before Christmas. So, like this weekend or maybe a couple of days before it, and then I will. That's when I first turned on my lights.
If it's up to me, I would wait. Like my wife wants them up immediately after. I have to fight her to not do them. Like she wants to decorate for Christmas before Thanksgiving
Dang.
because she loves like the decor and all that.
Sure.
But I'm more of I'd like to wait a little bit, maybe not 2 weeks before, but I'd say into December, like around this time, December. If it was up to me, probably like around now, I'd be doing it, turning them on. But yeah, I also noticed that he was stapling. Like it's not a good idea.
That's not a good idea.
It's not a good move.
Our lights usually go up December.
Because you hit it
first
wrong.
week.
Yeah. You do yours in the first week of December?
First week.
Yeah.
Then they're on for all of December. Then you take them down after New Year's.
Right.
I'm a big fan of the 12 Days of Christmas. So,
13th.
it's basically, so the Epiphany, right, in the old Christian religion stuff, you're looking at 12 days after Christmas.
Okay.
That's when it all comes down. Like everything must go by then.
So 12 days after Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll take all of my stuff down probably. Let's say the Christmas is on a Sunday this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take it down 2 weeks after that week. That weekend that's 2 weekends after.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so yeah, stapling lights probably not a good idea.
Right.
Things could go awry. We see one of a few instances as a ladder collapses
Yes.
as he's climbing the side of the house. We see a brief scene. So he's out there putting up his lights, and now we see a brief scene, a cut scene of the in-laws. Two men are in there sleeping, while their wives are making a gingerbread house. Now we go back to the lighting outside, and Clark almost falls off the ladder again. There's a cutaway scene of Ellen and Audrey in the kitchen. I guess Ellen's mother asks her if she's smoking again. No, of course not. And now after this full day, it's now nighttime, and Clark is still, stapling lights to the house. As he slides off his roof, he catches the gutter, which detaches from the house, and this
Ice rocket.
this ice just what do you call that? So it's the ice that collects in the gutter,
Right.
and it's
Like an
obvious.
icicle. Yeah.
It would be a large icicle, maybe.
But I think
it's not
it's not a drip.
Yeah, it's not
So
sickly.
it's not like a stalagmite.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're saying.
Anyway, as this gutter rips away from the house, off flies the
ice chunk.
rocket
Yeah.
Mhm.
and busts through the neighbor's window, the uppy neighbor's window, and basically destroys their stereo.
Mhm.
Of course, Clark lands in a bush as he's falling off, just in time to be told by Ellen that dinner is ready. She comes out and just missed the whole thing.
Right.
So the uppy neighbors return home, and they find their stereos all broken. Why is the carpet all wet, Todd?
Yeah, what did Todd do?
Todd.
I don't know, Margot. So lights are up. Lights are ready to go. This is the first attempt to light the house. After a family drum roll, the lights don't work. I mean, everybody's bashing him.
Right.
Everybody's bashing him.
I'm just saying, good job, Clark. You'll get him working, this and that.
Except
The father-in-law.
the father-in-law and
He's
the
tough.
mother-in-law.
Yeah.
In fact, his daughter, Audrey, says, "Oh, he worked really hard, Grandma." To which the grandfather responds, "So do washing machines."
Yeah, they're hard on him, on Clark. The in-laws are for sure.
Yeah.
It's an in-law thing.
Yeah.
Is it?
No, for Clark.
Oh.
Not like, no,
Like in
not-
general.
No, not in general.
I
It's
thought
just
we
like
were-
it's an in-law thing.
I thought we were speaking from experience there. Like, we can talk this out, man. It's all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
No, it's just showing Clark's just his family
situation, I guess.
situation. Yes.
Yeah.
So after all this disappointment, all the in-laws and everybody go in, and it's time for bed. Everybody's sleeping. They pan over everybody sleeping, which ends with, everyone except Clark, because he's still outside trying to figure out the light situation. But it ends with Ellen's father, Clark's father-in-law, is sleeping in Russ's bunk bed on the top bunk, and he's looking at a poster that's on the ceiling.
Right.
Who is that?
I couldn't make out it, just like a girl in like a bathing suit, and it was signed, but I couldn't tell who it was. Do you know?
I have no idea.
Was it the white bathing suit?
That was like a darker bathing suit.
Oh.
She looked kind of like whoever the actress is that played Lisa from Weird Science.
Oh, you're talking about Kelly LeBrock?
Yeah, Kelly LeBrock.
Maybe it was.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I kept rewinding and looking, but I couldn't.
Matt's finger boxing now, so maybe we'll find out.
Finger boxing.
He's looking it up.
Yes.
But,
go ahead. You guys.
Yeah,
talk.
I thought it was funny. Like in that scene, I'm like, oh, he's looking up the God maybe, or, because they don't show what he's looking at.
Right.
It's like, oh, he's looking up probably praying or something. He's
Yep.
like, no, he's looking at this poster.
He for damn sure is.
Yeah.
Evening came, morning follows. The next morning in the Griswold house, Clark heads up to the attic to hide some presents, where he finds he had actually hidden a Mother's Day present a while ago and just rediscovered. Like, it's all covered in dust and shit.
Right.
Ellen's mother retracts the ladder that's in the ceiling where he goes, trapping Clark up in the attic. Ultimately, the family decides to go shopping and out to lunch without Clark. So Clark is now stuck up in the attic, walking around. It's cold up there. It was interesting as he's walking. He's not walking on the joists. He's walking on the ceiling proper.
Oh, yeah.
Like on the
There's
what,
no support.
What would be plaster? No support.
Drywall, yeah.
So he ends up falling through into Russ's bed.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't he just crawl down?
out. I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
It couldn't be that hard.
Right.
Well, it was just made a small hole. I guess he didn't want to do more damage by trying to get through that. I mean, he kept him warm
Right.
while he was in there.
Yeah, I mean, he did find some old clothes, and not only did he find some old clothes, he was able to find a movie projector and Christmas movies,
gift for
Christmas movies from 1955.
Didn't he find a gift he had for his mom from like a long time ago?
You were busy finger boxing when I said he was up there,
Oh.
and he found the Mother's Day present.
Mother's Day. Thank you.
Yeah.
He had hidden a long time ago. It was interesting that he found the projector in these clothes. Apparently, there's an outlet up there too that he could just
Power outlet.
yeah that he could plug. I don't have an outlet in my attic.
Well, sometimes those, I don't remember where that one is, but sometimes you'll have like a pull string light, and within that light bulb housing, there'll be a plug.
Could very well
It
be.
could have
My
been one
grandma
of those,
had,
but
yeah.
but usually you're right.
These old porcelain chompies.
Right.
Mhm.
Yep.
But usually you're right. You don't find an outlet up there.
Might have had one somewhere. Who knows? It was a movie.
And it also, it was a movie.
Matt, that was great.
Suspend disbelief, right?
Come
Yeah.
on, Matt.
But also think about this. So that's 1989. He's watching a movie from 1955, which seems like so long ago.
Sure. But what's 34
1989?
years?
It's basically almost from now to back 1989. So we're almost in that
Mhm.
time frame. If you think about it, it'd be like us going up in the attic, finding a movie from 1989 and watching it. Like the time, distance and time sometimes doesn't register, at least for me. I think about it as like
I'm one of those guys that still think that the 90s were 10 years ago.
10 years ago. Right. Agreed.
Well, eventually the family returns home from shopping. Ellen opens the attic ladder, and Clark falls right the hell through. There's a quick shot of the neighbors after this. They just finished exercising, the yuppie neighbors, and they're wearing these silver workout.
Sweatsuits.
Were they?
Yeah.
Like, was this the? What did that do?
Is it like those rubberized ones almost that like kind of like make you sweat?
I'm
Even
trying.
more.
I was trying to liken it to maybe
It's
like,
like
what-
boxers and stuff. It's to lose weight quickly. You all the water weight like gets in these things. Like if you're working out, then like it falls out of the sleeves. It's
Is
Yeah.
that like what Martin, whatever his name was wearing, like when he was running around, like he was wearing like trash bags or some shit?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after that little cutaway scene, we're now outside at the Griswold house. Clark is still working on his lighting situation. Nothing is working. Miraculously, Clark's mom unknowingly discovers the problem when she flips a switch in the garage. We see the house lights light up, blinds the neighbors. You see the electric meter running through the roof,
Oh,
running
yeah.
through overdrive. But alas, the lights go out as Clark's mom flips the switch off again. Ellen now goes into the garage to check all the connections. And this is where you see like 24
Like
plugs,
adapters.
adapters and plugs all plugged into just basically one outlet. Flips the switch, the light that lights go on again, and then lights turn off again because she flips the switch again. So Clark is losing his mind at this point, absolutely losing his mind. Ellen realizes the problem. Now she flips the switch on for good, and all is well. Family applauds. Clark, with of course the exception of his father-in-law, and we meet Cousin Eddie.
Yes.
Oh, this is great. When he introduces these kids, it's so great. Like the son,
Weren't they? They were all
Grandpa
like,
a kiss.
they were all excited, and everybody's like there, and he's hugging everybody. They're saying, you know, great job, Clark. He's giving hugs. He's giving hugs, and
Moving
then
down the line, yeah.
yeah, he goes down the line, and there, yeah, like you said, cousin Eddie sitting with his wife and kids, just pulled on up.
Pulled on up. The boy Rocky has a lip fungus they ain't identified yet.
He don't talk much.
No, he doesn't. No, he's actually quite silent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Ruby Sue is this is one that I can't explain it. She falls in a well, her eyes go crossed. She gets kicked by a mule, they go back to
They
normal.
go back to normal, yeah.
Oh wow. Of course, Clark was surprised. In fact, he was so surprised if he had woken up tomorrow with his head sewn to the carpet, he wouldn't be any more surprised than he was right
than
then.
he was right now, yeah.
Into the Griswold house we go. Eddie and Clark are sharing a glass of eggnog. Did either of you note the moose glasses?
Yes,
They're
from
using-
Wally World.
Is that what that was? Again,
Yeah.
a homage to the elder movies.
And you can get those online today if anybody wants to have those for their Christmas party or anything. They are a
I'm
top
sure you
seller.
could. Yeah.
Yeah, they're out there.
I mean, what I'm still, and we talked about this in Vacation, Eddie is still wearing those same white shoes.
There they
Classics.
They are awesome. They are so awesome.
They're like the Jordans of his time. They're
Yeah.
called the Eddies.
The Eddies.
Mhm.
Patent leather.
The Eddies. So we do hear a foreshadow of what's going to happen when Clark tries to correct the dog from drinking the tree water.
Because it's going to dry out.
Yeah, the tree's going to dry out because the dog's drinking all the tree water. It's all right, though. The dog has a bit of a Mississippi leg hound in him.
Yeah.
You don't want to be around him if you're wearing short pants. So Eddie and Clark are talking. Eddie starts talking about his other kids. Now, I'm guessing, so first he mentions the older kids. So he's talking about I got one daughter in the clinic getting cured off of the wild turkey. Would that be Vicky, the
I
one
would
that was
imagine.
selling pot?
Yes.
I would imagine.
The
yeah.
pig farmer?
Which is weird that they would reference that he has those two older kids, yet the Griswold kids are now just new. And
Yeah.
So by now you would think they would have aged.
But it's part of the
Yeah, I guess.
the Lampoon shtick
Yeah.
for it.
I guess so. And one other thing, did you notice is he had the white sweater on with a dickie underneath?
Is that what that was?
Yeah, so you can see like the imprint of the dickie, which if you don't know what a dickie is, our listeners, it's like a turtleneck that's like a fake turtleneck. It's not the complete.
Right.
Yeah. And you can see the imprint of the under that white sweater.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was coming in one of the fun facts again with the moose mugs and the Dickie. You can get those online. They all have a whole like Cousin Eddie collection.
Oh, you can get a whole outfit
Which
like
is
that?
still-
What?
Yeah, go on Amazon. It's like a whole Cousin Eddie collection.
That's
Any-
awesome.
So you
anything
can
you
get that.
need.
You can dress just like that.
Yep.
Wow. Good
Okay.
to know. Good to know.
Just in time for
Yeah,
Christmas.
Right.
Of course. Oh, so Eddie also, of course, mentions the older boy, I'm guessing is Dale,
Mm-hmm.
worked at the carnival, not college, but carnival.
Right.
Last season, he was a pixie dust spreader on the Tilt-A-Whirl. If he, but he's thinking he's next year he's going to be guessing people's weight or barking for the yak woman.
Nice.
They talk about Eddie's RV,
Mm-hmm.
and Eddie nonchalantly, I borrowed it off a buddy of mine. He took my house. I took the RV.
Right.
Seems like an interesting trade, but all right. So the next day in Mr. Shirley's office, we see a flash to Mr. Shirley's office. Clark drops off a gift. Hey, says Mr. Shirley, just put it over there with the others, Greaseball. Instead of Griswold. Like he can never remember
Greaseball.
Clark's name. So he calls him Greaseball. This is Mr. Shirley sitting at possibly the longest conference
It's
table
a huge one. Yeah.
you've ever seen. Okay, Clark, excuse me, I'm in the middle of an important call. He's not even on the phone.
He's
No.
like, get somebody on the phone.
Yeah.
Anybody. Yeah.
Get me somebody, anybody. Well, get me somebody while I'm waiting.
And all those gifts look alike.
Yep.
If you look, they're all like the same shape. I don't know what it was, but
Throwaway gifts for a boss, I guess.
yeah, it could have been. Yeah.
Something.
Next scene, we flash forward. This is the famous sledding scene where Clark introduces the non-caloric silicone-based kitchen lubricant to the bottom of his sled. We also find that Eddie had the metal plate in his head replaced because every time Catherine would rev up the microwave, he'd piss his pants and forget who he was for a half hour.
That's why Eddie he didn't want to give the sled a try. He told Clark, hey, you go ahead, Clark.
I don't know if I want a piece of government. The only thing between me and the snow is a piece of government plastic.
Yeah.
Because if he dented it, it would just ruin his hair.
Yeah. So that scene there, and I know the one in the beginning with the truck, in the very beginning when they're in the station wagon, they were both filmed in Colorado. Those are the scenes that were in Breckenridge area.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very scenic.
Mm-hmm. I
Well-
don't know if you're going to find mountains and stuff like that in
What,
Chicago,
Chicago?
Illinois area. I don't
No,
know. I don't know
I
if
don't-
they're skiing out there or anything like that. But
No, you're going to see lakes.
yeah.
unless you keep going to Canada and then keep going.
Right.
But it gets cold in Chicago.
I know.
Shit,
They
it
could have.
does.
They could have done it around some snow, a little hill or something.
Yeah, I just don't know, like, as far as that type of stuff, what they have there, skiing and all that.
You're approaching the Great Plains.
Yeah.
It's pretty flat.
Yeah,
out
pretty
there.
flat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Clark,
But cold yet flat.
cold yet flat. Clark takes off in his lubricated sled, and man, does he fire like a bullet.
Oh, yeah.
After traveling this impossibly long distance, he lands in the Walmart parking lot of all
Yes.
things. We had mentioned, I believe in the last one,
Yes.
when we did vacation, people will apply the name Wally World when they speak of Walmart.
Right.
Isn't it amazing that they landed in Walmart?
Walmart, yep.
Bingo. Next day, back at Clark's office, Clark's discussing with Bill, his buddy Bill, his concern over not having yet received his bonus. At the Griswolds that night, he's standing there in his kitchen. So, everybody's in bed. He has this vision of what his yard will look like when the pool's in place.
Beautiful pool.
Beautiful pool. We even see Eddie in a Speedo and a wife beater tucked into the Speedo.
Right.
He tries to get that out of his mind, though. He shakes it out.
He gets everything out of his
Yeah.
mind. Everyone. And the only one that now appears is Mary,
Skirt.
From
Was that
the
From the
lingerie
mall.
chick,
Yeah.
the Scorsese?
the Scorsese. She's the Scorseseist,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
appearing on a diving board. P.S. I love the one-piece bathing suit.
Oh,
Love
for
it.
real?
Oh, my God.
Like the
yeah.
Baywatch.
That is that is it. That is the Baywatch bathing suit, and she sports it very well. Ultimately taking it off and amazingly throwing it at the house, despite the fact that she's a figment of his imagination.
Right.
Does it hits the window
still hits
very
the
well?
window.
Unfortunately, Ruby Sue appears and ends the fantasy. She's nervous. She's not going to get any presents. She's actually shitting bricks, she says.
Yeah.
Note, she didn't get anything last year either.
And why was that?
Because her parents are broke.
Yeah.
She said something to Clark about Santa doesn't come much or something. Or she said something along those lines.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. Like Santa can't find the house.
Yeah, something like that.
Speaking of the house, though, she loves Clark's house. You don't got to put your coat on to go to the bathroom, and your house is always in the same place. It's awesome.
It is.
Next morning at the Griswolds, we see Clark. Clark sees Eddie emptying his chemical toilet into Clark's sewer. Shitter was full.
Another foreshadow.
Yes.
Oh, indeed. The neighbor sees him, and Todd
Todd.
just looks at him and runs right back into the house. We also see, after Eddie's done pumping his shit out of his RV, we see the remains of the sled.
Oh, that's right. He
It's
picks
just-
it up.
Yeah, it's just this metal ring now it looks like a metal donut.
Mm-hmm.
Clark and Ellen are discussing Eddie's kids not getting anything for Christmas, and that Eddie hasn't worked in 7 years because he's holding out for management.
Which the timeline matches up with Vacation.
Yeah.
The original one. So they
Mhm.
got that part right.
They did.
Yeah.
At Walmart, next scene is at Walmart. We find Eddie and Clark walking around shopping. We also discover that Eddie had fibbed to Clark. Eddie didn't borrow the RV; it's his home now.
Mm-hmm.
If only Eddie had that money, he'd sent it a TV preacher who was sleeping with that hockey player. Did either of you note? So as Eddie is stacking this dog food over and over and over onto this cart, Clark reaches over and grabs a box of light bulbs, puts it on some bags. Eddie then grabs another bag and just
Right on
slams it
top.
right on. You just hear this crushed box of light bulbs.
Jeez.
Of course, Clark offers to help Eddie for Christmas. Hey, look, we want, Elle and I want to throw something nice for the kids. Eddie just happens to have a Christmas list, alphabetically for the entire family.
Already written up.
Yeah. In fact, he also asks Clark to buy something for himself from Eddie, something real nice.
They said cousin Eddie got that from somebody actually in his family. That was like one of the fun facts towards the end, but just throw it in there now since I guess he had an uncle or something that always did that when he talked.
Oh, you're talking about where he picked up the
Yeah, where he
mannerism?
picked up the mannerism.
It was somebody that he knew.
That's awesome.
It was somebody that he knew growing up in Texas.
Texas. Okay,
And
yeah.
I don't know that it was a family member or just somebody that he knew. It could have been a family, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he got a lot of that.
Yeah,
The mannerisms.
The mannerisms for that. That's who it was based on a real person.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. I thought that was completely made up.
No, he's out
No,
there
it's-
somewhere. It's a real.
I want to
guy.
meet him.
Well, it's much like in Fast Times with Spicoli. Sean Penn based that on a guy he knew growing up.
That's awesome.
There's actually a real life Spicoli, a guy that acted exactly like
Mhm.
that.
That's
So,
fantastic.
yeah.
Huh. Life imitates art,
Mhm.
imitates life.
Right.
That night at the Griswolds, we get to meet and are introduced to Uncle Lewis and Aunt Bethany, who just arrived. That Aunt Bethany, she's so great.
Oh, yeah.
I love riding in cars. When did you move to Florida? Ellen, are you still dating Clark?
Yeah.
Did either of you, at least I'm sure you did, I for damn sure did, noticed, and maybe it was just because of the year this came out. So this is what, 89?
89.
So I'm 13 years old at the time, definitely full-blown pubescent, throbbing carnal urges.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice the keyhole cut in Ellen's shirt? It's basically that teardrop right below her neck that goes all the way basically to like the middle of her cleave.
Okay.
Yeah, she was giving it away. She knows what she's doing.
All right.
Cleavage shot.
She knows exactly what she's doing.
Speaking of which, real quick, before I forget, I was right about her and Al Pacino.
Oh,
Yeah, they
were
did it.
you?
That was
well,
the
they're
love of his life.
They're not married, but she had kids to him and stuff.
Mhm.
So they weren't technically married, but I guess.
She left her husband for Al Pacino.
Yeah.
actually.
So Juice Man, the guy Juice Man, he's always listening. He told me that. He said, hey, by the way, when you guys were talking about that, you were right. He said that there was an article that came out actually the day after the podcast dropped. And he's like, oh, I wonder if if they heard the podcast or something, probably not, but they
You
talked
can't-
about
who
that.
knows?
You
Yeah,
never
who
know.
knows? You do never
We're
know.
internet sensations, man.
She left her husband. She's like, oh, I met a guy and this and that. And he's like, well, what's going on? Who is it? What? She said Al Pacino. He's like, oh, yeah, I would leave. Basically along the lines, well, go ahead then. If it's Al Pacino, I can't compete almost. Like she's like, it's the love of my life and this and that. Yeah,
You just admitted defeat.
Right.
To Alpac.
just gave up.
Damn.
So yeah, I guess they have kids together.
Wow.
Never got married though, but still.
Did she stay married to her husband?
No, she left. I mean,
Okay.
she got divorced and everything, but she ended up, with Al Pacino for however many years, and they had kids together.
So yeah, when you got Pacino or D'Angelo money, you don't need. It's not like you're worried about breaking up. You don't need them 2 paychecks.
Nope.
There was another girl though, right?
Making ends meet.
Yeah, they're like,
Right. But Beverly D'Angelo. But there was another girl that I was thinking of, and I thought maybe I was confusing them. But anyway, yeah. So I know what you're talking about with her shirt, though, being low cut.
Yeah, she
And
knows
so-
what she's doing.
Yeah.
So back to Uncle Lewis and Aunt Bethany. They brought presents. Did either of you notice the wrapping paper on the gifts? Well, one was happy birthday wrapping paper, and the other one was this wrapping paper that's basically meant for a toddler. It's like rainbow bright type shit on there.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
like a little dancing, like very little baby type stuff.
but they were very, very old and senile.
Of course.
people. I mean, that was the fun part about it.
Of course.
And-
It's innocence. It's ignorance is bliss.
Yes.
And cousin Eddie, wasn't one of them leaking?
Yeah, so
Yes,
one box was meowing.
Meowing. That's what
They
it
kept moving.
One box was meowing, which I think Chevy Chase did a great job with that,
Yes.
shaking the box,
Yeah.
Right.
making it look like there was something in there. And the other one was indeed leaking. It's lime.
Yeah, that's what cousin Eddie, right?
Yeah, that would be her Jello mold. So yeah, after that we see Eddie and Russ. Woo, woo, woo. Let's go find your sister. And now we're off to dinner. Aunt Bethany says grace. Not Grace, the one who passed away 30 years ago.
Right.
The blessing.
Yeah.
Which was the
Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes.
Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah.
Just fantastic.
and everybody went along though. They don't want to hurt her feelings.
look, hey, there's no
Everybody
need to-
enjoyed the good old pledge before dinner.
No need to offend the old people.
Right.
I always fancy Eddie clothes, but I love this one. Was it a full jeans outfit?
Like a leisure suit. Is that what they call that?
I thought it might have been denim. Like he was wearing a Canadian tuxedo.
That blue, that light powder blue. It might have been denim. I don't know.
It was that it's the way it's woven, I guess they would say, but it's a leisure suit that were pretty popular.
Okay.
I think my dad had one similar. It was the brown though. It wasn't the blue.
Mm-hmm. The foreshadow, I think the later on will when they're given a description of police, they mention maybe blue leisure suit. I don't know though for sure.
Oh yeah, she did mention leisure suit.
Yeah,
She definitely
That's
did.
the only
Yes,
reason
the one was
that-
in a blue leisure suit.
that's the only way I would come up with that because to be honest with you, I don't even know what a leisure suit is, but I did hear that.
It's high end polyester.
Is that what
it's
it
like
is?
woven 8 million times.
So with leisure suit,
it's like Egyptian
I was
polyester.
waiting to hear Egyptian come out.
Yes.
but leisure suit would be more for like a leisurely activity versus a formal suit. Is that what they're kind of saying?
I don't know.
I
I've never
don't-
owned a leisure suit.
Nah, I mean
You would wear them to like a nice event, but you wouldn't wear it to like church.
Church,
Like say
okay.
it was like your cousin's birthday party at the VFW.
Sure.
You put on a nice leisure suit.
That makes
Okay.
sense.
But you're not going to church in the leisure suit. You'd actually put the
real suit on.
actual wool or cotton.
Right.
For that.
You would wear the leisure suit to the lounge, though.
Yes.
Of course.
Like Larry on Three's Company.
Yes,
Larry
Throw on a
Dallas.
he would throw on a leisure suit every once in a while.
Gotcha.
Well, with leisure suit and prayer behind us, we're now ready to carve the turkey and save the neck for me, Clark. So
Ugh.
Clark dives into this turkey, and it is bone dry.
But it looks great.
It looks
On the outside.
fantastic.
I know. Everybody was excited until the cut.
Until the
Just-
cut. Now, I know this. Wow. I know the synopsis had mentioned something about exploding turkey. It
Yeah.
was not exploding. It just released the pressure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind
It was like a gaseous,
a gash.
a gaseous.
It was gaseous.
Yeah.
No one can stomach this turkey, by the way. Like it goes around. It goes all around the table. You see everybody's eating habits, and you see Clark's mom. You see Clark's mom is actually taking the bits of turkey and swishing them around in her water, like stirring her water with it, trying to eat it.
Yeah.
Ellen takes an attempt to eat it, and not even takes an attempt. She has it on her fork as she's looking across the table. Then she just flips her fork. Like, I still do that for fun to this day. Like, just your cooking's great. I love it.
Clark's the best with it though. Like eating when he's just like
Yeah, that's what I remember the most is the sound effects.
Sound
the
effects
chewing.
from it,
and
yeah.
Yeah,
You know.
Eddie's liking it though, right?
Eddie's loving it.
Eddie's in it,
Eddie's
Yeah.
also loving the cat food in the Jello mold at this point.
Right.
which the ant, the senile ant
Yeah.
threw
Does-
together.
Does your cat like Jello? So we hear Snots, who is Eddie's dog. He yaks up a bone. We see, so after yakking up a bone and whatever, and nosing around in the trash and all of this stuff, we hear Uncle Lewis ask Clark to bring him a stogie. Now, in the meantime, there's been this cat in the living room that's
Chewing.
gnawing on the lights of the tree and pulls the plug. So it's still gnawing on these lights. And Clark, this is classic, plugs it in and just disintegrates the
just
cat.
into the carpet. Just a
Yeah.
cat,
Right.
like a spread cat.
It's like a cartoon.
Yeah.
You know where they go.
Yeah, it's like a police outline
Mm-hmm.
Of a big furry cat that is no longer.
drawn
Right.
in hair, in white hair. If that cat had 9 lives, he just spent all of
Used
them.
all-
Mm-hmm.
Outside, we see a foreshadowing of things to come. There's gas coming out of the sewer. Meanwhile, back in the house, out of nowhere, as Clark's sitting at the table, we see this fireball.
It's just a whoosh.
This-
That's all you see and hear.
Out of nowhere, we come to find that Uncle Lewis had lit up the tree while he was trying to light a cigar.
And just burn it so quick.
So
It was like
quickly.
And his whole back.
Because
Like the
it's
whole back of his suit.
That is.
It's just burn out.
on fire. Yeah.
And Uncle Lewis is on fire. So now we see this. We see a lot of things all happening at once, right? Like this is going to drive anybody crazy. So right at this time, the doorbell rings. It's Clark's company. The courier guy arrives.
Speedball.
Is that his name?
Well, the name of the company is Speedball Courier,
Okay.
yeah, which is a drug, right? Drug
Speedball, yes.
references, yeah.
Yeah, Speedball is a drug.
Yeah.
So this is the courier arrives, drops off the envelope. Clark is expecting his Christmas bonus. He tells the family, his desire to use the bonus. He's going to buy a pool.
Everybody is hype, excited.
Everybody's
There's
excited.
Hugs and kisses all around.
Joy, joy all around us. Alas, he receives a 1-year membership to the Jelly of the Month Club.
It's the
No.
gift that keeps on giving, Clark.
The whole year.
Right.
So Clark is pissed. I tried to rewind this, but I lost interest, but I definitely don't lose interest in what happens when Clark goes through this barrage
Mhm.
of 20-some names that he calls Mr. Shirley,
Mhm.
his boss, is blah, blah, and blah, blah. He just rifles him right
He's
off
like,
so quickly.
Fun fact on that, because it'll fit perfectly, because we're talking about that scene and you loving the barrage of names.
Absolutely.
So rumor is that all the characters that were there in the room had signs around their neck with different insults. And that gave him so he was
to
just kind
read.
of looking around the
Cool.
room and like
Reading when things
reading,
he
like,
saw.
you know what I mean? So he didn't have to think about it. He was looking at it and reading them. And that's kind of how they kind of flew.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's how they kind of came out like rapid fire. So who knows if that's true or not? That was one of the fun facts that they said.
That explains so much.
But it sounds like it makes sense. I mean, to come up with that, unless you memorize it. But
Yeah.
if he did it on the spot,
I don't know. Chevy Chase strikes me as a on-the-spot kind of guy.
right?
With Clark as pissed as he is, and after that barrage of insults, and he says, "Oh man, one thing I would want for Christmas is, my boss, Mr. Shirley, brought here with a big, bow on his head, so I can tell him exactly what he wanted to tell him."
Mhm.
I call him all those names. Next scene, we see Eddie's RV speeding away.
Yep, he's taking
Right.
off. Where's he going? Where's
Well,
Eddie going?
We see the RV speed away, and then we see Clark go outside to chop down a replacement Christmas tree. And of course,
The neighbors
yeah,
are there waiting,
he cuts down the
witnessing.
tree. It goes right through right through their window as they're eating dinner.
Destroying their house.
So at this point, again, insanity coupled with Christmas determination is certainly set in. As Clark's there decorating his new tree. Aunt Bethany hears a sound, despite Uncle Lewis reminding her that she couldn't hear a dump truck driving through a nitroglycerin plant. That sound is a squirrel. And after a frantic chase around the house, a frantic chase including Snots the dog, Clark opens up the front door to let the squirrel run out the door. And the squirrel jumps on his neighbor who's visiting him, who wants to give her a piece of his mind for busting through a window.
Well, no, Margot yells at her husband to like get over there and say something, right?
And he doesn't. And
Yeah.
he doesn't go, so she goes instead.
So she goes instead.
Yep. And then she's tackled by Snots, who the squirrel lands on her, the dog jumps on her.
And then the door is shut.
And then the door's shut. Gone.
Not my problem.
Yep. She then goes home and sees her husband, punches him right in the face, knocks him over.
Right.
So, all right, it's going, everything's just off the rails here. The in-laws and everyone else are preparing to leave the house, just like it was this is another homage to Vacation where, the chips are down and no, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Clark is the one, that's really corralling everybody back together and, trying to reinvigorate everyone. It's going to be the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby danced with Danny fucking K. danced with Danny fucking K.
Right.
And there's the F word in the Vacation, right?
There is. And there was an F word in this one.
Yes.
That was where it came, right? Or no?
I think this was the only instance of fuck, yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
from the last in this one. Yep.
Fun fact.
Right.
A Zap fun fact. Bing Crosby dancing with Danny fucking K's in White Christmas. That is by far and away, 100%, no questions asked, my favorite of all time Christmas movies.
White Christmas.
White Christmas.
What was the
Irving
one-
Berlin's White Christmas.
Was that the one you put on? No, it was Wonderful Life.
The one we had on the poll was It's a Wonderful
Life. Yeah.
They say this real quick fun fact. The film has a tie to It's a Wonderful Life, since you guys are talking about it now. In addition to footage from Frank Capra, classic actually appearing in the film, Christmas Vacation has another fun tie to It's a Wonderful Life. Frank Capra's grandson, Frank Capra III, is Christmas Vacation's assistant director. So
there you go.
It's a Wonderful Life tie-in, like you guys were saying. There you go.
Boomtown.
There it is.
That's that.
Mm-hmm.
So, chips are down, everything's falling apart. So Clark has a heart-to-heart with his father. And his father tells him a story of, that this was, what happens back then. And, this is your place now. Like, you can take care of this. You can do this. You're a great dad. You can do this. So Clark ends up gathering the family together, reads The Night Before Christmas, and we see Eddie arrive with Mr. Shirley. Eddie has, in fact, fulfilled Clark's wish from earlier.
He's like a regular Santa.
He
Yeah,
is.
he is.
He's just Santa. Mr. Shirley, Mrs. Shirley, and I think this is where you're going.
Yes.
She calls the police, and she mentions a guy in a leisure suit. He was a huge,
Beastly.
bulging
man.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we have the explanation. So Mr. Shirley exclaims that he had cut out bonuses this year.
Right.
When Clark said, well, yeah, I got pissed when, I got my bonus. And Clark explained that he had been expecting a bonus, as people count on them as part of their salaries. So after a quick little back and forth, Mr. Shirley comes around, ends up giving him a bonus equal to 120% of what he had earned last year as a bonus.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a bonus.
At 20%, right? Yeah.
Wow, man, that's like Biden inflation.
Well, you figure if we're talking about all things relative to what a pool would cost today versus, 1989.
What is a pool nowadays? You're six
Easily.
figures?
No, around 60.
About 60,
Okay.
65, which
But
still
does
that's
that
a healthy.
include- So what about things like hardscape,
No.
landscape, bullshit, fences?
Most of that comes in with, a lot of them do a lot of that, but the fences are separate. You're
Yeah,
talking
that-
fences
you're-
like 10, 15, 20, depending how high.
You're talking 65 will get you like a 3-foot concrete pour around the pool.
Okay.
And then anything up above and beyond that, I think would be your responsibility. Bring a landscaper in,
Mhm.
shrubbery,
Right,
whatever else. So that's a healthy bonus.
That is a healthy bonus.
If I'm just thinking if he was paying for a pool, and I don't know what they were going for back then, but I would think it would all be,
Relative.
yeah. But
He was doing well for himself
Yes.
anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, look at his house.
Working
Has a
in the
fin-
city.
Yeah.
right.
Got a nice job. You seen that table, that conference table?
Yeah,
My
Mr.
God.
Mr. Shirley isn't hurting. I know
Right.
that.
And what is his job specifically? It's like something to do with food additives or something like that.
The other guy and him explained it when they were in there talking about
Yeah.
the bonus or what are you doing, and I don't know.
They
Some-
never really
something
come
to-
around and
no.
exactly say what it is, but yeah, we figure he's making good money. The house
he's
looks
making
nice.
coin.
He's
Yeah.
in the suburbs of Chicago.
He's in Ferris Bueller's neighborhood.
$1 million home easy.
Yeah.
Nowadays, yeah.
Well, back then I think too, probably Close to the mill?
Maybe Mr. Shirley's house.
Yes.
Okay.
Not Clark's.
No.
Oh, who cares?
300 to 500 at that time, no?
Who's to say?
Yeah.
What I do know is that while everybody's calming down and Mr. Shirley gives his bonus, the police and the SWAT team arrive.
Great team.
They surround the Griswold's house, break into the neighbor's house.
busting through windows.
Yeah, SWAT team.
nonstop.
Yeah, if you're going to have, this was Julia Louis-Dreyfus. What'd she say? Somebody was knocking on the door, and I thought maybe it was Todd.
Right.
So if you want to come in, you're going to have to bust the door down. And they do.
And they do, yeah.
And as Matt had alluded, they're breaking through the windows of the Griswold's house. And of course they run in and, everybody frees. And I'm sure you both noticed
her hands
on his crotch.
Yes.
Of course.
She froze there, though.
She
It was
did.
freezing.
She did, yeah.
She listened to authority and said,
Mhm.
okay, I'm going to leave my hand on this crotch.
Right.
Mr. Shirley explains to the police, what happened. He calls off the police. I love the one black guy, like the leader of the police. He's like, man, mister, if I had a rubber hose, I would beat you until, and then it just fades off and he gets cut out.
Right.
But ultimately, so everybody leaves the house and they all go out and they're gazing at the night sky, right? They see this little hue up in the sky and they see this, that, and the other thing. And ultimately, Uncle Lewis lights another cigar and his match ignites the sewer gas
Yes.
that was
Glowing green.
coming out of the sewer from Cousin Eddie. Bethany starts singing the Star Spangled Banner as the plastic Santa and his
there's
sleigh
just-
are shot over the landscape.
Yeah.
Flying through the night sky, right
Right.
across the moon.
Yep. And that's the happy ending to Christmas Vacation.
Beautiful
Yeah.
story.
And much like we talked about in Vacation, this is the ending that they kind of envisioned in Vacation that they changed. It was a home invasion, I think, where
The
what was
owner
his
of
name?
Wally World.
Roy Wally
Yeah.
into his house and took him hostage and did all that. They kind of took that and used it in the Christmas Vacation, but they took him hostage. And much like Wally World at the end, they kind of worked things out and everything ended up being okay. I guess I guess they didn't press charges, I would imagine.
Nope.
He got his bonus and everything's great. But even his wife was the boss's wife was pissed at him for not giving out bonuses,
Yeah.
this and that.
Of
So-
all the cheap ways to save a buck. Of all the
Right.
low down ways to save a buck.
So yeah, that was cool, Zap. Thanks for taking us through that. So
Hey,
I
man.
guess now we'll hit you with some fun facts. I don't know, Matt. You got anything? You guys got anything? You want me to start?
I'm all talked out. I need you guys to help me out with some fun facts here.
I know how we love Siskel and Ebert, correct?
Right. So what do they have
Yes.
to say?
Siskel liked it. Roger Ebert was a hater again. He did not like the film. He said it's a classic now, but he said if you're a fan of Christmas Vacation, which I guess he was like not too impressed with that either. But yeah, he's a hater.
He didn't like it.
No.
Oh. Well, to each
Shocking.
their own. Yeah.
Shocking.
The song "Holiday Road," the Lindsey Buckingham. This is the only vacation movie to not have
Not
it.
used. Yes,
Yeah.
I did read that.
And this is a vacation movie where they actually didn't go on vacation anywhere, which is kind of weird. You think about it. Every other one they went to Vegas or Europe or wherever.
Yeah, he didn't even take any time off of work.
No, you're right. I mean, I guess you could say they went to get their tree and wherever the hell they were for that. But
Fair.
you talked about the Dodge pickup. That was from, like you said, Kurt Russell in Overboard. And also They Live from 1988.
Oh,
in that
starring
movie.
Roddy Piper.
Yes, it was in that movie as well.
That was ass kicking and bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's just a quote from that. You can buy your own Dickie is what this little piece of this article says. It's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation Collectibles is a website dedicated to all things Christmas vacation. That's where you can go buy the Dickie. You can get the moose glasses, all Cousin Eddie stuff. The shoes, I think, are on there.
That's what I needed.
Yeah.
I needed.
Oh,
to
you can
do
also
that.
get moose mugs and punch bowls. So I guess they're called moose mugs.
Awesome.
So you could put like a whole outfit together.
Mhm.
That's pretty cool.
Well, there's actually Cousin Eddie is actually an outfit also. I don't know if they call it Cousin Eddie,
Right.
They can.
Awesome.
but yeah, you can buy that
That is
for
awesome.
for a family get together this year.
So during the scene with Uncle
Or at
Lewis,
the lounge.
It's a
Yeah,
white
for the
robe, I think,
lounge.
and that like
you would definitely wear
green.
that in a lounge. I
Hell
can see
yeah.
that outfit.
Man, hell yeah.
So the scene where Uncle Lewis and Aunt Bethany are arriving, there was a minor earthquake during that scene while they were filming it. I don't know if you can really tell. I'd have to.
So is
go
that
back and
filmed in
watch it.
California then?
Yes,
That
because this
part?
is on the
Okay.
back lot of what was it?
Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers. Yeah, it's like a back lot. So it was in California, Los Angeles area.
Warner Brothers Ranch.
Another one, Christmas Vacation to our neighbors over there across the pond in England. It went straight to video.
What?
Yeah, I've heard that it didn't go to theaters like some.
Yeah, it was never
places.
shown in theaters.
Yeah, that's wild. So you talked about It's a Wonderful Life. when he cut down the replacement tree and then he goes into the house and he's up, I forget what he's doing upstairs. He has a chainsaw with him.
Yep.
And he comes and cuts off
the post.
Yeah. So is that something similar happened was there like a rickety post or something in It's a Wonderful Life? They said there was.
Yes, correct. Yeah. It's except for George Bailey, it's at the bottom of his steps.
Right.
Yep.
So I guess that was kind of like a reference.
I'm glad you brought that up because that scene in the movie really bothered me.
The chainsaw.
The chainsaw one, because like it's so fake. Like it was already, how it was already cut, and he kind of just like pushes it off.
The cut scene where
the cut scene, he didn't even have like they could at least had the chainsaw. I don't know if it was something that they were afraid to cut himself or whatever.
They could have just used a stunt guy to do it.
Yeah, something. It was a shitty scene. It's the only part of this movie that bothered me. Thanks for bringing that up.
I never took notice to that.
So
check it out next time you watch it on TV.
Which
it's
will
pretty
probably
crappy
be tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be on.
Yeah.
So according to this source here, in Christmas Vacation, the first vacation movie and this vacation movie, Griswold is spelled with an O, but in the European Vacation, it's spelled with an A.
Huh.
So I never really took notice of that. I'd have to go back and watch it. I know he has a jersey on in like the Easy, had a jersey on with Griswold on the back.
Yep. Chicago Blackhawks.
Right. And I'm sure in European Vacation, they have in the beginning, they're stamping their passports and stuff. So you'll see the name spelling in that.
Huh.
And then in Vacation, I don't know where they would have had their name spelled, but I'll have to go back and look at that. Maybe on the synopsis sheet or something, but
I guess I have one more fact. This is the only sequel in the Vacation franchise to have its own sequel. Did you guys know that?
this had a sequel?
Mm-hmm.
No, I did not know.
I had no idea.
It's a 2003 film called National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation 2: Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure.
Oh, really?
That
Yeah.
sounds
Is there
awful.
anybody in it that's
And it was made for television. It says it's Randy Quaid and Miriam Flynn as Eddie and Catherine. They're stranded on an island in South Pacific for the holidays, and it holds a 12% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, but it is out there.
Wow, 12%.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation Dose.
Sounds terrible.
So let's check that out. Anyone, just go give it a gander.
I think I would concur with Siskel and Ebert on that one, and even without watching it, I'm just giving it a thumbs down.
Yeah,
I don't think they reviewed that one.
probably not that good.
No.
Didn't they?
No.
No, Zap. No.
So the scene where Clark couldn't get the lights working and all that. Remember, he takes his frustration out on the plastic decorations out front. And
Yeah, he's
punches
kicking
Just
him, he's
punching
punching him,
Yeah, he actually broke his pinky.
I heard that. Yeah,
beating
he broke part of his.
So
It broke his hand. It said, but
it happens. Yeah,
that was much like Leo DiCaprio in Django,
Django. Yeah,
where he smashes his hand down and it was bleeding, and he just kept going, just acting. It's best.
He's a man. He's a man's man. He's
Him
a
and
man's
Chevy.
man's man.
Him and Chevy are
Right.
just up there.
You know, it's funny on this, like on every movie, I usually can find like cast members that never were. You know, the guys or girls that they were looking at for parts, but there was really nobody referenced that they didn't get who they wanted. Of course, they're bringing back the majority of the cast, so
Sure.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if they wanted Anthony Michael Hall, like he would have been aged out by then.
Oh
he
my
would have
God,
been too
yeah.
old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I don't think they went back for they just get different ones. That's the
No.
whole vacation thing.
But one last fun fact I have here, talking about the Griswold house being on a back lot, they used it for many things. And it also was right next to the Murtaugh family home in Lethal Weapon. So the house
Oh.
next door. So if we remember Lethal Weapon, Murtaugh, was that Mel Gibson?
No, it was
or
Danny Glover.
Danny Glover, okay, his character.
That's
yeah.
the house where in the house he sits on a toilet, but there's an explosive behind the toilet.
That's right, he can't move. I'm getting too old for this shit.
His legs fell asleep and he couldn't get off of the toilet, so he needed help getting off of the toilet.
That's right.
And then as soon as he did, the toilet blew up into the air.
Yes, Lethal Weapon. That's a great one. That'll have to be one maybe someday down the road we'll add that.
Mhm, mhm.
But yeah, I mean, there's not there's a lot of fun facts. I think we went through a lot of them during the movie when we were talking about
Yeah,
it.
Yep.
we jumped in there with some fun ones.
And yeah, that was a good one. I'm glad we got to cover that.
Heck yeah, 'tis the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was fun. A good holiday flick for
Right.
everyone.
So we appreciate everybody voting on that. This should be airing the 22nd, so Christmas is right around the corner. We hope you have a Merry Christmas and all that good stuff. We're covering next week. It'll be Breakfast Club is next on the list. We didn't take down the poll yet for the following week, so continue to go on there, add movies you want. Matt had told me one that he wants me to add to it. I'll go in here after this and add it. And please, as listeners, go in there, add movies and vote. It helps us pick what we're going to do next. What was the one you referenced?
I don't know. We talked about that.
We just talked about it before we got
earlier.
on.
Cannonball Run.
No, that's already
No.
on there. That's actually next up, I think. That's tied with another movie. I forget which one because there's about 20 of them in there. but we had talked about one right before.
Yeah,
and,
shoot.
I forget what
it'll
it
come to
was.
mind. We'll put it out.
But
on
at
the-
any rate,
on
it'll
the
be
board.
added on there, and we'll get to it. We definitely want to get all these movies reviewed for you, so continue to vote. Don't forget to join our Facebook page if you haven't, at Old Dirty Basement, our Instagram at Old Dirty Basement, and TikTok at Old Dirty Basement Podcast. It's December 22nd, so don't forget to check out our merch store and order some merch. If you go on our Facebook page, you can check out some of the stuff we have, sweatshirts, T-shirts, all that good stuff. And I guess that's it for now. So we'll catch you where?
On the flip side.
If we don't see you sooner, we'll see you later.
Peace. Thanks for listening to The Vintage Cinema Review in the Old Dirty Basement. If you dig our theme music like we do, check out the Tsunami Experiment. Find them on Facebook. Their music is streaming on Spotify and Apple, and where great music is available.
You can find us at Old Dirty Basement on Facebook and Instagram, and at Old Dirty Basement Podcast on TikTok.
Peace.
We Audi 5000.